Hi, this is Casey, and I'm building off the video that hopefully you saw previously and that you have an account for an interlibrary services account through our library. And now we're going to talk a little bit about using the databases and about getting full text. So this is the library homepage again, and there are actually two links to the articles and databases on this page. Here at the top, articles and databases, and here under quick links, articles and databases, and they take you to the exact same page. And it looks like this. Up here we have a listing by title, so if you knew the title of the database you wanted, you could click on P for PsycInfo and scroll down. But let's say you just kind of know that you're doing research in education or psychology, which are the two areas that you guys will probably use the most. You could click on that, and I'll click on psychology. And this is a listing, the subject librarian in psychology listed all the databases that are most useful in your field. And you can see there's a few others. Digital dissertations is a useful one. Another one is Web of Science down here. It tells you who cites what, basically, so you can follow citations. But for today, we're going to use PsycInfo via EBSCO, the third one on the list, right here at the top. And these three ones at the top are the ones that are the key resources. So at that point, if you are off campus, you'll be prompted for your A number and password first, and then it should let you into this database. And at the top, you can see the name of the database, PsycInfo, so we know we're in the right place. And then for search terms, let's do satisfaction surveys and vocational rehabilitation. And I'll just hit search. Now there were a few other options on that page, but almost anything that you can limit on that page, you can also limit on this one. And I'll just move this over so you can see it. So you can see that we have 60 results here at the top, and that's pretty decent to start scanning, but there are a few ways that you can limit your search to make it even more specific to what you need. So let's say here we didn't want from 1946 to 2011. Let's say we just want from maybe 2000 to 2011. You can also choose peer-reviewed so that you don't get magazines and newspapers. Now, I wouldn't recommend choosing linked full text because it will make it look like we don't have access to things that we may actually have access to. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. So this will actually limit you probably a little more than you mean to be limited. So I would avoid that link to full text for the most part. Okay, there's another, these subjects and subject headings can suggest terms that might help you get even better results. So you can look and see what they suggest, and you can automatically click the link to run another search, or you can take these words and put them manually up here in your search yourself. So, and they'll just be linked by this word "and" for you. So those are just some quick sort of tips. The next thing that you kind of want to look for is you just start scanning and seeing if the titles seem like something you would need. And before you start reading or doing too much with something, I would recommend clicking on the title and reading the abstract, and that short summary that tells you if you actually want to read it and spend your time with it. So there's also some really nice options, and I'm going to move the screen again over here. Over here on the right, to automatically cite it, it does the 5 main ones like APA and Chicago and MLA. You can email citations to yourself, and there's a few other nice features over here, so just kind of keep those in mind. And you can see that, excuse me, over here on the left we have HTML full text. And a lot of times you'll see that, and I'm going to click the result list at the top here to go back to our result page. You'll either see the HTML full text, or sometimes you get both in the PDF. So if I click on this PDF, it will bring up my full text. And at this point, I'm to the hard part, I'm to the reading and the synthesizing, but I have my article. I can print it, save it, email it, do whatever I want with it. And there it is. So your hunt for the full text is over at this point. And the nice thing is, a lot of times, that's what you will come upon. For a lot of these, you won't have to request them from another library or check for the barn for print access if you are located here in Logan. It will just be right in front of you. So that's my favorite scenario. But sometimes you won't have that option. And this is where one thing we hadn't talked about yet is at the top of your search, you can limit, you can use these boxes to the right with the drop-down box to say things like maybe you want the word satisfaction surveys in the title, or maybe you know an author that you want to search by. And in this case, for part of your assignment, you're going to be searching for a particular journal, and it's called the Journal of Applied Rehabilitation Counseling. That's quite the name. So once I have that, I'm going to come to the right here, and I'm going to say that I want these terms found in SO publication name, and that's just the name of the journal is what it's saying. So if I choose this, it's going to look for these terms, satisfaction surveys and vocational rehabilitation, in any issue or any articles that appear in this journal, the Journal of Applied Rehabilitation Counseling. So this field is an important one to know for your assignment, this SO publication name. You can also just take out these search terms and just see everything that's published in Applied Rehabilitation Counseling. So I'm going to hit search, and it's going to vastly narrow our results to 4. So you can see that if you may not want to do that in your research if you want to see other things outside of the journal. But for this purpose, and because it's an example of what you'll do in your assignment, I'm going to click on number 1. And you can see here that we don't have full text access, at least in this database. And before we can determine that for sure, we click on this article linker check for full text access. And this is where I mentioned before, that button that says link to full text. It won't show you what we own in other databases. So before you can determine that we don't have online access, you first have to press article linker. Now, this is a sign that we don't have online access. Article is not available online. Proceed to step 2. So this is where it gets just a little bit tricky in terms of I'm speaking to 2 audiences. So if you are on campus, you can't skip to step 3 until you've done step 2 and check to see if we own it in print, which I will cover in the next video. But once you've established that, you can go to step 3. Now, anyone who is off campus, you can skip directly from step 1 to step 3, because for you it doesn't really matter if we own it in print because you can't go get it yourself anyways. So you would go to step 3. Now hopefully you have an Interlibrary Services account at this point, and I'm going to show you, I mentioned a shortcut in that video, and this is where it comes into play. If you press request this material through Interlibrary Loan Services, it'll open up the login to your account, and you can just sign in. And I know before I mentioned that you can come in here manually and choose photocopy of an article and fill out the citation info. But the nice thing about that step number 3 is it does that automatically for you. And it pops all your citation info right in for you, which is really nice. And all you have to do is go to the bottom and press submit. And then we will try to get you that PDF as quickly as possible, send an email to you that links you back into this account, and then you can go to electronically received articles and get the PDF from there. So it's a really pretty simple process. And the next video, for those of you who are on campus, you'll need to watch that just to learn briefly how to double check before you request anything that we don't own it in print. Because if you're on campus and you request something that we own in print, they'll cancel your request and just tell you where it is in the library. Okay, again, if any of this is confusing or you have questions, just let me know. Thanks.